Welcome to Lola's Frugal Life Podcast. If you're on a mission to be more frugal with both your time and money, you're in the right place. In this podcast, we talk about topics that help enhance living a frugal lifestyle. The goal is to save time and money where we can so that we can use the rest on what matters most to us. We talk a lot about both time and money management so that we can waste as little as possible on both. We do this while also embracing a progress over perfection mindset. If that sounds good to you, then please stick around for the latest episode right after a few quick words from our sponsor. Hi everyone, welcome back to Lola's Frugal Life Podcast. This is my weekly meal plan episode. If you're new here, this is an episode that I do each Wednesday where I share with you my family's meal plan for the upcoming week. There's also a blog post on my website at lolasfrugallife.com where you can find links to any of the recipes that I might mention as part of the meal plan. I also started doing some videos of some of the recipes on my YouTube channel. If you just search for Lola's Frugal Life on YouTube, you'll find it there. I only have a couple of videos so far. It takes much longer than I imagined to make a cooking video because there's lots of editing involved, and then I have to do a voiceover. So I'm gradually trying to make some of them. I have about 3 up so far, I think, and I'm gonna post one more that should be up by the time this podcast comes out, hopefully. So I'm trying to do, my goal is one a month, which I know really isn't enough to keep a YouTube channel going, but I'm going to do my best to do a little bit more than that. But if I can at least do once a month to get a new video up there, that's my goal, my minimum. So anyway, so this week's meal plan starts on Saturday, November 11th. And for Saturday, we're going to be doing oven baked chicken, which is from BettyCrocker.com. This chicken comes out really good. It's you basically just take a bone-in chicken and you dip it in Bisquick mix, and then you take butter and you put it in a baking dish, and then you put the chicken in skin side down and bake it, and then you flip it over and continue to bake it, and it comes out really like crispy and juicy, and I really like to make it this way. I also did find online, if you do a quick search, if you don't have Bisquick, there's a quick substitute for Bisquick. It's basically just like flour and I think it might have been like flour and baking soda powder, baking powder, and maybe something else, salt or something. I forget exactly, but you can look that up and substitute if you need to, because the last recipe I made that called for Bisquick, I did that because I went to buy Bisquick to add it to my shopping order. And they only had a really large box, and it was like almost $8. And I was like, I'm not paying $8 for this mix that's basically just like flour and whatever else. So you can definitely substitute that. So anyway, that is for Sunday. With that, we're also going to have Chef John's Perfect Mashed Potatoes, which is from allrecipes.com. It's just a method of cooking potatoes. It's not really much to the recipe. And some frozen vegetables. For Sunday, I'm going to be making homemade chicken franchise, which is from dinneratthezoo.com. It's just your typical chicken franchise recipe. You judge the chicken in egg and then flour, or flour and then egg. I forget the order at the moment, but anyway, you know, if you've made it before, you're familiar with the process. You do it in flour and then egg, and then you cook it in oil, and then you make like the sauce to go with it. So we're gonna do that on which day was that? For Sunday. For Sunday. Sorry, I clicked out of my app for a second with my recipes in it. So that's going to be for Sunday, and then I'm going to do some angel hair pasta with that. For Monday, I'm going to be doing Jenny-O's Best Ever Meatloaf, which is from jennyo.com. It's a turkey meatloaf that I've just kind of always made. So that's like our go-to meatloaf recipe. And with that, I'm going to be doing some shells and cheese, just like the box kind. And then frozen vegetables again, whatever I happen to have in the freezer. For Tuesday, we always do some type of taco theme. So I'm going to be doing homemade nachos with ground beef, which is from theseasonedmom.com. It's just your typical nacho recipe. You lay out some tortilla chips on a baking sheet, you top them with ground beef and shredded cheese, and you bake it. And then we put out a bunch of other toppings, like jalapeno peppers and some salsa and sour cream and avocado and all that kind of stuff. And everyone can just kind of top their own nachos. For Wednesday, we usually do some type of seafood. So this week we're going to be doing bacon wrapped barbecue shrimp, which is from allrecipes.com. This is a recipe that I make kind of frequently. It's really good and it's really simple to make. For the bacon, I actually don't wrap the shrimp. I just cut it up in pieces and layer it over top of the shrimp, just kind of more like a sheet pan type thing. And it comes out just as good and it takes a lot less time to do that. And then I'm going to be doing some vegetable fried rice on the side. I don't have an actual recipe to share for that. I'm just basically cooking up some white rice, sauteing up some stir-fry vegetables, adding some soy sauce, mixing the rice in, and that's that. So that goes good with the bacon wrapped shrimp. For Thursday, we usually do breakfast for dinner or soup for dinner. So this week we're doing soup. No, I'm sorry, not doing soup. We're doing breakfast for dinner. I'm doing hash brown breakfast casserole from spendwithpennies.com. This recipe is made with shredded hash browns and cooked sausage, like the breakfast sausage, and it's got eggs and peppers and shredded cheese and all that kind of stuff. And you just put it all basically in a casserole dish and bake it up for dinner. And that always goes good as leftovers too for actual breakfast the next morning. And then for Friday, we're going to be doing hamburgers. We do this every other Friday. I don't have a recipe to share for the hamburgers. I just take some ground beef, cook it up as you know. I make little patties and just cook it up in a frying pan. And then I'm also going to do oven fresh seasoned potato wedges with that, which is from allrecipes.com. These are just really simple to make. You take a potato and cut it up into wedges, and then you take a few potatoes and then you toss them in a Ziploc bag with some olive oil and seasonings and Parmesan cheese, and you bake those in the oven. And then we'll do a can of pork and beans on the side with that. So that's it for this week's meal plan. Like I said, you can find this on my website at lolasfrugallife.com. The post comes out every week with the recipes for that week, and all the previous ones are out there too if you're looking for anything from any of my previous episodes. So that's it for this week. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you back here next week. So thank you for checking in for this podcast episode, and don't forget, you can always email me with any questions or suggestions at lolasfrugallife@gmail.com. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at lolasfrugallife, and you can find a blog post for most of my episodes and definitely all of my meal plan episodes at lolasfrugallife.com. You can also join our private listeners group at facebook.com/groups/lolasfrugallife. And if you enjoy the show, please make sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you listen from. And I would love it if you would screenshot the show and tag me on Instagram so I could see you're listening. Also, if you can please take a couple of seconds to rate and review the podcast. Those ratings and reviews are what help the show come up better in search results so that other people can find this podcast. So that will really help me in growing my audience. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have an awesome day.